recording.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Do we have an intro thing for this one?
No.
Cool.
I don't think so.
Shazam!
But anyway, yes. Let's just jump into it. I'm Luke. Oh, wait. Should we do the intro thing first?
Yeah.
Oh, like the drop?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta, yeah.
Because we're filming on the phone again.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't tell. So, coming at you in stunning low resolution.
An autofocus detail.
Again.
Yes.
But anyway, here we go.
Dun-dun-dun.
All right.
Yo.
I'm Lucas.
I'm Dustin. Maybe we'll have fancy title cards pop up with our...
No, this time we will get little title cards.
Little on my hand as it comes up clean.
Right.
What gamer tag do you use? Because I know you have your PS4 one. Is it the same as your Xbox?
No, actually, my Xbox and my PlayStation gamer tags are different. Yeah, and it was only because they weren't. I couldn't get my Xbox gamer tag when I was finally on PlayStation.
Sure. And then your Steam's different than that, even.
No, so my Steam one should use the same one that my PlayStation one uses.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
But Steam's weird because you can create your
own, and it just
little
tags
thing.
numbers and stuff on the end of it. Yeah, it's
strange.
like I'm Alpha D Unit on everything. Literally everything that there is. Every time there's a new platform that comes out, I'll run out there and snatch up all of the usernames that are.
Well, I always try to get the same username. I always try to get Loop003.
Sure. Yeah.
But that's sometimes not available. Obviously, my first preference would be Luke.
Yeah, right. Just straight up Luke.
Yes,
You're
it would.
About 22 years late to the party to require
exactly
such things as those.
So yeah, we are doing another devlog. Obviously, this is devlog episode 2. We're probably already like 5 minutes into our estimated 10-minute runtime.
Taking me a 10-minute runtime.
But we're just gonna jump into it. Go ahead.
First question. We probably should have wrote down who actually gave us these questions. But
oh yeah, I can tell you. I can tell you.
Oh, okay, neat.
Right.
What difficulties have you had in your first year?
That question was asked by Anonymous.
Yes.
I would say, for me personally, I think some of the biggest difficulties I ran into over the first year, because, I mean, if you think about it, actually, within the last week, our business has been run for a year. We made it an entire year. 1 year anniversary of Leyline Studios official.
Indeed.
I would say it's the actual business aspect of it. I am incredibly inept.
Never let anyone sign your checks.
When it comes to yes, that sort of thing. I did not do well in those classes when I was in school, and so yeah, that part of it is very difficult for me. Lots of paperwork that I don't want to do, and yeah. So no actual development aspect.
Yeah, right.
I find difficult. It's the other stuff.
Yeah, actual development wise, I don't know. It's more fun than it is work, so I don't really find it like difficult.
Right.
It's the time. I think for me, is trying to find the time. You want to sit down and want to get in the groove and be able to knock out a whole bunch of stuff, and then time just doesn't allow it, and that gets frustrating.
Right. And I think also, and I'm sure a lot of other indie developers can probably relate with this, but even though it's a passion, you still have to somehow in your life find time to do other things, because you don't want to burn yourself out of it, because then, there are times where I sit in front of my computer and I'm like, I love this game, but I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So you try to mitigate.
Especially
how frequently you feel that.
We work on computers all day at work, and come home and then I got to do this again. Like I didn't just spend 9 hours doing this.
Yep. And I mean, for me, sometimes I'll spend 8 hours at work in Unreal, and then immediately jump back into Unreal when I get home, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Question number 2. What's the hardest part about designing?
Oh, another anonymous question.
Wonderful.
Not me. It's not me asking that question.
Though.
It is. I would say for me, I think that kind of goes back to question 1. I think for me, it's like finding the time to, because I'm not a programmer Like, I will never ever tell anybody I'm a programmer. I might be programming the game, but I'm not a programmer. And so...
Not in the Unix systems?
No.
And Cobalt?
No.
Coding?
No.
No INI files?
No. I am all Blueprint all day. And so, for me, like, I'll encounter a problem, like a programming issue, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to just beat my head up against this for like an hour and a half. Next thing you know, like 6 hours passes, and I haven't gotten over that hump. And then I realized, like, maybe I just made a really, really dumb mistake. Like, I used the wrong Blueprint node or something like that. And so, sometimes for me, I think I wish I could just, like, have an idea and program it and, like, do C++, and just do the little math GIF thing. Or just looking.
Yeah, just numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure,
Rain Man it. I wish I could just Rain Man through projects.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd say for me it's the programming. Because, like, 3D and art and that sort of stuff kind of comes easy to us. You?
Again, I do more of the... been doing more of the level design as opposed to the actual mechanics of the thing. So the issues and stuff that I come across then is just running into... I don't want to say miscommunications, but just the look that you have in your mind,
right,
and then getting that on the screen,
right.
Like, oh, this looks really cool, but then how does that equate to how the engine supports that? How do you have planes in the right position? Is the geometry for what you're adding
that's true
correct? Are those collisions able to be calculatable, or did you forget 352 lights?
So I guess
active lighting.
One of the things that's really kind of cool, though, I do find it difficult sometimes to collaborate. Not like collaborating with you. I find it difficult to collaborate in general, just because we don't have an office, and
we don't have a big resource pool. We have to meet up at the end of the week,
right.
Dump whatever we were working on together.
Right.
Hopefully they meet up. You didn't
somewhere
make
in the middle
critical change that totally destroys everything that I've been working on. And
right.
Duct tape it all back together.
But I think the good thing is we've been working together for so long and we work together so well. I can usually just take a look at something you've worked on and I'm like, okay, he wanted to do this, he meant to do this is supposed to be there. Yeah, exactly. So
make sure you use file name. Use this one underscore.
I have gotten much better at naming files,
architecture,
than we were back in high school.
Oh yeah,
where everything was just the middle row of the keyboard. For the two. Yeah,
absolutely. Rev.
Right. All right. Hit us
Question
with
3. Let's see. Do you think Mayhem Live is going to stylistically yield high impact, souped up tone, blah blah blah, or would it be something more grounded and gritty?
So this question's coming from a colleague of mine, Brantley.
Very nice.
And yes, so to answer that question, I think we are aiming for maximum juice on this Mayhem Live. I think above every, like, our design direction for this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like like in your face.
Yeah.
And
Please.
so
green screen, nuclear bomb going off mushroom clouds.
One of the things that one of our ideas to kind of support that is the main game itself is a single player experience, right? Yes. And so, because it's a single-player experience, it's not always on, always online. We have the ability to freeze the action altogether, focus on things. I can show you some screenshots of that popping up. Development. And, so we definitely want it to be souped up. Yeah, like, I want it to be exciting, and I want people to be on the edge of their seats when they're playing it, and that sort of thing.
Yeah. I think... gritty, I hate because like DC has really ran with dark and gritty. So when you're thinking about it, you're equating with like brooding and or I'm angry protagonist number 5. And gritty is the world that is populating this game is a gritty take on the world. But yeah, again, stylistically, the visuals that you're being presented with are very juiced up, very popping and colorful. So.
I don't know if I guess one of my big issues is, like, I think people, especially when you're talking about movies, people are like, oh, it's gritty, it's realistic, it's realistic. Like, I don't live in a black and white, dark, muddy world.
Yeah,
I don't know about anybody else, but like,
yeah,
I see color, you know,
exactly
and like in
right,
things, and
that was when like the first Gears of War came on, and the brown is real. Grays took over everything. Everyone's like, how many more games are going to come out with the same gray and brown color palette?
Right.
Like, where's the color? Like
the sky is blue
no matter what. Yeah, occasionally. Yeah, right.
Well, we live in Indiana, so the sky's never blue.
Yeah, definitely blue. Yeah, there's a lot of color, even on a dreary, gray, overcast day.
Right.
Like, there's still color. It's not like everything gets sapped of color. I am colorblind and still see the color of things around me. So yeah, but that doesn't mean that you don't. There can be a lack of grit or darkness.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't base things in reality. I think one of the things that really communicates reality to me is like a realistic sense of weight and physics and that sort of thing. So you can have a game that is fantastical and very, you know, extreme in its artistic vision, but you can ground it in reality by making it, you know, feel weighty.
Oh, yeah.
I think a good example of that is the Dark Souls series.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
right.
I mean, a scaleless dragon in an ice tomb is incredibly unrealistic. However, when I'm rolling around and I'm wearing all this gear and I'm just... and, you know, everything...
Fat rolling
exactly,
ice crystals, and they're all breaking, and people with enormous axes coming down.
Right. Yeah. I would say that game is fairly realistic because of how it feels.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Right, yeah. You it's fantasy, like you said, but you can feel yourself in that world.
Right. Okay.
Ooh,
let's see. We got one more.
I think there's one more. Yes.
Or a couple more?
I think, possibly. It's a two-parter, it looks like, yes. Can you guys please talk more about Hideo Kojima and what we can learn from Metal Gear Solid 2? Who's this question from? That's not myself.
That's coming at us from Don.
Don.
Dude, friend of the show.
Thank you, Don.
I should make a drink.
It's gonna be a while. I mean, no, what else more can I say? Metal Gear 2 set the blueprint for not only what the game's topic is, meta, whatever, in general, but taking an established character everybody loved, Solid Snake, and expecting a game with more Solid Snake. And then for Hideo to be like, woo, and give you just the tease, let you just the tanker levels, all you get of Snake. And then you play as this new whiny kid riding through the rest of the game. And a lot of people at the time were real upset about that. Like, this is not what you do when you have an established game series.
No, see, that brings up a very interesting question, though, because I had a different... I remember not necessarily backlash, but I remember people's discussion revolving around that game when it came out. Mm-hmm. But I actually experienced 2 before I went back and played the first game. So for me, I wasn't like, who's this writing character or anything like that. Like, this was just the game. I was more concerned about a giant dude with roller skates throwing bombs at me, you know, than anything else.
And then, it's just so fantastic because, once you realize that the game is just a duplicate of the first game again, you're going through the motions, the Solid Snake simulation, the S3 program to say that you can take anybody and train them into becoming Snake. You can turn anybody into the legendary soldier, given the same circumstances that Snake was exposed to in Shadow Moses. So, playing 2 first, you lose all that because you don't have that first game to base on. We start realizing the notes are coming back. Cyborg Ninja just shows up out of nowhere, and you're just like, why is Cyborg Ninja in this game? What is happening? And then, just the huge 40-minute cutscenes.
And then the other funny part is, too, when I did finally get around to playing the first one, I played, Twin Snakes, which I think you think is pretty hilarious.
It's blasphemy, yes.
I thought it was great. I said this game looks amazing.
Backflipping and kicking stone things into... It's terrible.
Plus, it really showed off, like, people hated on the GameCube so hard, dude, and I don't know why, man. Every game I had on GameCube looked amazing.
Yeah, they all look fantastic.
Yeah. So I guess a modification to that question I would ask you is, since you are so into Metal Gear and the Kojima productions and whatnot, what sort of inspiration do you draw from that series in the games that we work on?
I don't want to say it's the because it's the exact reason that people are upset with, like, The Last Jedi, where you have your expectations and then a deviation. You're what's the saying for that? You have a predetermined idea of what's going to happen, and then someone
Preconceived notion?
Preconceived notion?
Subversion?
Subverted
subversion?
Expectations. Thank you. Subverted expectations. You can't not say that that's a heavy part of Hideo's thing. I mean, everybody, I'm sure, hopefully has played Metal Gear 5 by now, and to
spoilers.
Here they come. See that you're not playing as Big Boss, that you are playing as Venom, his decoy. And again, another subverted expectation. Yet another game where you're not playing as Snake and you think you are in Ground Zeroes. And that everything about his games are the subversion of expectations. PT, the playable teaser. You're playing this hallway game and you're like, oh, this is cool, this is a really scary game. And it's not until finally after you beat the teaser, you get the little cutscene and Norman Reedus walking down, turns around, Silent Hills. Your expectation was subverted the whole time. You had no idea you were playing a Silent Hill game.
Well, I think
at the last second
we've seen. I mean, you brought up movies, and I think movies are a good example, especially lately. Mm-hmm. There are, and this isn't really objective. Obviously, this is subjective, but I think there are good ways to subvert expectations.
Yeah, right.
And there
absolutely.
are, cheap ways. Yes. I'm not going to say bad. I'm just going to say cheap ways to subvert expectations.
Yeah. By the way, when Streets of Blades comes out, it is a third-person jump to conclusions match simulator. Surprise! Expectations subverted.
Yes, it's horrible. This idea.
Hey, Kojima Productions.
Right.
So yeah, not that. I guess whatever you would say is not that. I like the mystery of going into a game and having the story being something. I guess that's what it comes down to. It being larger than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
That's I think the best way.
And
to
I feel like a lot of our projects always end up to be that,
because
we always
that way.
Yeah. We almost always start from a position of like, dude, this, and this, but. All of that.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I can definitely see
that's
that.
Yeah, I think that the majority of, and I think for any Kojima game, and what everyone will say is that the game is always larger than the sum of its parts.
Right.
It's just you're telling the story of Snake again. You have this again. You're doing these same beats again, but you'll never get into hour 190 of Metal Gear 5 and be like, oh man, this game is really shallow. Because there's some cassette tapes to get additional stuff like that. Like, no, the game is ridiculous. You're having your horse take a crap on the road so that the dude you're trying to chase, his car spins out of control, and they're all dizzy and not know what's going on.
Personally, I think it would be funny if Death Stranding was a super straight, play it straight, like FedEx simulator, like nothing else to it.
Totally, and then we start putting our take on it.
Project your own.
Why is the world so kooky and crazy? Why is there like old gods? Is it because he's carrying emotional baggage and he's carrying that from one place to the next? And the deal's like, it's stuff. He's like an Amazon Prime delivery dude.
Right.
But that's. I can go on for hours. We could do a whole one of these, and we probably will.
So I have a question. What is the likelihood that this just ends up turning into a Kojima retrospective channel?
Every video we get closer and closer to
it's
the Kojima Productions logo at the beginning of the video slide across.
It's getting dangerous.
So. If we get any more details about Death Stranding, I'm gone. I'm lost. I'm what's that dude with the GIF and he's got the wall with the strings?
I don't know.
I'm the dude's name is. I love that dude. He's in Horrible Bosses and stuff.
The
conspiracy man with all the pins.
That's what
I'm saying.
Oh, it's gonna burn me inside.
It's gonna burn me up.
Because he's from he is from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, right. He's in
and his character
Pacific
name
Rim.
His character name in that movie in that TV show is him. Charlie Day.
Charlie Day. Oh, nicely done. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
I'm going to just be Charlie Day.
There you go. Anyway, that was a tangent.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Arc tangent.
Ooh, hello. What is it? 1446 Petnant tangent.
Petnant man will pass. Petnant man.
I'm really excited for Halo 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we seen anything more than a teaser?
Nope.
I gotta be honest with you, man.
Some leaks, I guess.
Here's the thing, man. moderately excited for that game as of right now. The second I hear that, boom, 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 boom,
I'm in.
Yeah,
My
I'm
wallet.
just gonna woo, just right in.
There we go.
To that rabbit
Dust off
hole.
the 360. There's
The
a new
Xbox.
Xbox that's come out since then. I know I only use it to power my bias light on my television,
Bro,
but there is a new Xbox
mine is
out.
strictly a Forza box.
Yeah,
So-
right, yeah. I think my Xbox is duct tape closed because it has, I think, the Skyrim remaster on it because it had an open
Right.
mod store.
Uh,
That's the only reason I own the thing.
so, what else we got?
Last one here. Da-da-da.
I think it's another Don question.
Oh, is it? Yes, I believe that's part 2 of part 1.
Yeah.
I would personally like to see a top-down arcade-style vehicular shooter where you play... what are these words? Something customization of aircraft? 3
Play
aircraft?
as a custom team of 3 aircraft.
Of aircraft.
Yes,
Okay.
that is a direct reference to a game that I started to build a while ago.
I was going to say this
Yes,
is,
Project 2042.
Oh, I didn't know it had a name to it.
Yeah, it had a name. It had a name because the name is
interesting.
a play off of the game that kind of inspired it, which is 1942
Oh, very
for
nice.
the NES.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Footage.
Da-da-da-ba-ba-da-da.
No, maybe at some point, we could come back and revisit the game. It's always been kind of a personal project, a side project for me. It was, and the interesting point from that game was my first foray into Unreal actual game.
Oh,
development.
sure, yeah, actual mechanical.
Yeah, like
game mechanics.
back when we were in college, like we had kind of dabbled in doing a level design in UDK originally. If you remember blocking out BSPs and stuff like that. But the first thing I actually sat down and programmed with a colleague of mine, Matt, we used to work together. We were just bouncing ideas back and forth, and I was like, I want to see this game come to fruition. I am going to figure out Unreal. So I went from a 0 to a anti-hero in Unreal.
Yeah, right,
just off of that game.
alone.
So
yeah. I know we had talked about before too, incorporating a lot of older mechanics and styles of games that are gone now. I grew up with the Command and Conquer games, Westwood Studios being extremely pivotal in the reason that my username is even what it is. Me and Papa,
Right.
we used to play Tiberium Sun. Oh, it's just all day, every day after school, and
Let the juice flow.
Let the juice flow. Fantastic. But he was Greek Man 8 because he was Greek, and I was Masso Man 8 because I'm Macedonian. So Masso Man was my handle for a decade before handles were a thing, because you had to type something in the chat to indicate that you're playing with someone else.
Right.
Which was fantastic. But I loved those games because they had FMVs. They had live action cutscenes interspersed with really terrible, at the time, 3D graphics.
I can pretty much vow that we're going to have FMVs in a game.
Absolutely. Because that would be so much fun. I mean, I have so many outfits here. I'm big into cosplay. We go to C2E2 and dress up all the time. I have all the parts.
Images.
Very... I didn't even think. I was like, we live in the future.
Yeah,
we have
no, this is the
photos
future.
of this thing.
Editing.
Da, 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 da. You and me as guardians from Destiny. It's just all kinds of and so I would love to do that. Make a bunch of outfits, do a bunch of skits, have Hair Commander, and has a ragtag group of pilots or something like that, and needs to scrounge. It's future based still, but all still grimy.
Well, I mean,
FMV based. Oh, it'd be awesome.
While we're riffing just ideas, I've had this idea for a Mars rover kind of side-scrolling game the whole time, but all of the instruction and the direction that the rover receives is from Earth, from a ragtag group of NASA scientists. And I was like, what better way to do that than film those scenes in FMV?
Yes, so fun.
That'd
be wonderful.
That would be dope.
FMVs.
So I am
added to the Streets of Blaze budget here real quick. Just add a couple FMVs.
I'm 95% positive this is way over 10 minutes.
100%. This is like 3 hours.
We should have used your phone as a timer.
Oh, that
underneath
So smart.
the other phone, but we're not.
I need
We're
to
not smart.
look up things. I mean, either way, I could have probably noticed what time.
Oh, yeah, 'cause then-
what the timestamp was when we started.
I'll tell you, that would have been hilarious because then we would have been like, well, the notes are on my phone. Oh, but the notes are also on your phone.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna have to get better at the note thing. I
this
think,
whole process needs to get
this
better.
all needs to get better.
But the good thing is nobody is watching the videos.
Hey, so there's that.
No, I kid. We do have like 4 people watching the videos.
Hey,
So
4, that's twice as many times as we have people here that
yeah,
have
so
watched.
by the time we're doing our 1,000 subscriber video, I'm sure we'll have
there
a
you go.
much better setup.
Yeah, there we go.
One that
No
isn't
fucking-
constantly zooming in and out on our faces.
Autofocus. Oh my goodness, focus on that hand there. Nicely done.
Anything else we did? Oh, well, I guess this is a devlog, so we should at least
like the update
touch
of the
on
game.
touch on what we're talking about or what we're doing.
Yeah, just in general.
So this week, 2 of my major like milestones for this week is to completely and totally revamp the customer customer
selection screen.
yes, the character
Ready for
selection
Death
screen.
Stranding.
I'm still in work mode. I'm still in work mode. Anyway, the character selection screen because if you're not familiar with programming Unreal games, I feel like you would be fairly surprised at how not straightforward user interface, like a controlling user interface with a controller is. It's nightmarish almost sometimes, because it's like I gotta figure out character controller this, and it's like, but this is not. But this is for playing the game, and this is for navigating the game, and then this one's how do I know which player is actually inputting this? And so again, I'm not a programmer, right? So I don't have just some surefire method of doing it, but from a design aspect, we're very good at that part of it. So I can design what it looks like, and then it's just trying to dump the functionality in there. And so that's been my priority for this week. Mainly getting that to the point where we can just start dumping those levels we've been working on into it and kind of seal it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm ready to do. Finish out those couple levels that we're working on. Get a good jam session here coming up.
Yeah.
The weather's getting better for sure, so
Definitely.
we'll be able to get together a little bit easier now. And
Definitely.
Kid's getting a little bit older. Just had his last set of vaccines yesterday.
Right.
Because he's 6 months old now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Is that like a milestone?
Sure.
All right. Yes. Yeah, 6 months.
We did it, right?
Nice.
As he gets easier and easier to watch and stuff, it's gonna be a lot easier for us to get together and
get that kid a keyboard.
Get
him going on this.
If you need like a randomizer put together,
Oh, yeah,
let
there
him
you go.
beat on a keyboard for the
Yeah.
afternoon. That's a smart idea right there.
Right.
Yeah, do some like cancer folding. Use the power of kids just beating on keyboards.
How many people do you think would even know what cancer folding is?
I don't know. The PS3 did it, so I assume.
Like, the funny thing about it is, I don't even think that's the term for it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like protein folding.
Right. Yeah.
Thing.
I mean, it is a
You
thing.
can still donate
that's
your
That's true.
hibernating computer.
Weren't they
power, CPU power.
weren't they also using it to decode?
They were mining cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's
That
what
was a
I'm thinking
problem.
of. What,
People were using like Steam, even just their backlog protocols to use your idle processing.
Yeah, I saw that. There was some game that came out that was basically just a Bitcoin miner.
There's a lot of just websites now that you go to that website and it just in the background, one of its background tasks is using your CPU idle processing power to mine coins on their behalf. So more people on that website, the more free processing they get to
the
mine some
future.
coins. Yay, cryptocurrency! Shout out to all 77 Dogecoins that I own.
Dogecoin. How are your Bitcoins doing?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Buy high, sell low. That's what I was told, and it's done me very good so far. So, yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh man. So are we just gonna ramble on to 30 minutes?
I think so.
Is
Let's
that what we're
hit the
shooting
30-minute one. We can cut this one. We should do a false intro and then cut it into two videos. We can mirror the video so that my shirt reads correctly, and no one would even think. They'll think we're sitting on the other side.
Wait a second. How come? Why is it backwards?
Mirrors. They're really crazy. You know what I mean?
No, but we're not looking at a mirror. That's a camera. A camera should record.
And if you're looking on the other side of the
ahead.
camera, I would be sitting on the right-hand side. I'm on the right-hand side.
No, because if this was a camera pointed at us, your shirt should read correctly because it's a camera.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yes. So why is it backwards on the?
Because it's front facing, I'm assuming.
It's still a camera. It doesn't matter if it's front facing or rear facing.
That's interesting because the screen would then need to mirror what. I guess it would just look really awkward that if you were to move your hand to the right, it would move to the left on the screen.
So it's what I mean? Purely for taking
selfies, so you can know what you're doing. I need to look to the right. I move to the right.
Well, this is still straight.
Oh, well done. Well done. Well done. That's I would say that's a closer.
Yeah, I would agree.
Closer.
Ta-da!